Hey there, it's Jared Hamilton with the Hamilton Group at Cherry Creek Mortgage. Welcome to another edition of Java with Jared. Once again, happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastic. Well, interest rates finished the week a little bit worse than where they ended last week. We saw a ton of volatility, which is kind of as to be expected because there's a bunch of things going on here that's going to be affecting the market. First of all, we had the Fed meeting here this week, which we'll get to a little bit. So there's volatility as to what the Fed's going to do and how it's going to affect the market. That was in there. The stock market keeps setting record highs. We saw multiple record highs this week, and that's usually bad for interest rates. The tax bill, all the consternation going on in Congress, so what's going to happen? Is it going to pass? Is it not going to pass? What's it going to look like? And I'm not going to be talking about anything in the tax bill here yet, because we want to really wait till it passes, if it passes, to really talk about how that could potentially affect the market. But there's a lot of things within that the market is thinking could be good, could be bad. So that adds to the volatility. And we saw some inflation data also this week, which I'll just jump to right now. First of all, we saw the producer price index come in, and that measures inflation at the wholesale level. That showed a larger increase than what the market was expecting. In fact, the headline number came in at 3.1%. Which was more than expected, and now we are above that 3% handle. However, the core rate, when you factor out the volatile part of food and energy, that actually showed a slight decline at 2.4%. We saw, though, the consumer price index, which is the most important number, come out the very next day, because that's really what the consumer is having to pay. Sometimes if there's inflation at the wholesale level, it's not passed on to the consumer. And that's what happened, is that the CPI came in actually at 2.2% versus 2.0. So it did show an increase, but not as much as what the consumer or producer price index showed. We did see the core rate, though, that actually declined from 1.8 down to 1.7. The next day, we saw the Fed minutes, or the Fed decision released, and the Federal Reserve, as expected, did increase credit by 0.25%. That was totally expected, but what the market was wanting to find out is what was the Federal Reserve saying? Well, they're expecting, they mentioned, well, first of all, the vote was 8-2, so there were two dissenters, which they like to try to come to a consensus, and we've had at least one dissenter quite often. So two dissenters this time. They did say that they are expecting 3 increases next year. They're expecting that inflation will remain around that 2% level. They increased the GDP expectations to about 2%. So the bottom line is the Fed did kind of indicate that they like the way the economy is moving, and so that is positive for the stock market, and the stock market gained on that. Interest rates, though, did not suffer that badly. In fact, how the week panned out is Monday was a really bad day, and we made up a lot of ground Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today, we're just right around some important technical levels, so we haven't come back to where we ended last week, but at least we made up a whole lot of ground. So the next real focus is really going to be on this tax bill, and we'll let you know if that passes next week, what's in it, and how it might affect interest rates. But bottom line, the week finished a little bit worse than last week. A lot of volatility, but still interest rates are fantastic, and it remains to be seen how things are going to look for 2018, but we'll also get into that probably the beginning of January, just to give you our thoughts, or at least my thoughts, on what the interest rate environment might look like for 2018. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you are getting all ready for the holiday, final holiday push here. If you have any questions, please give me a call. If you're working this weekend, it seems like things are still busy out there. So are we. So if you have any clients that need any help over the weekend, give us a call. We're happy to help. Thanks for joining me with Java with Jared, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.